Here's Marty. Hey guys, welcome to Alpha Book Club. This is the best book club, and you're not going to see me do that anywhere else. So enjoy it, give it, spread the love. Sup, we are on the internet. My name is Maude Garrett. I'll be your host today. Joining me, it's ladies' night again. We've got my twin from another sin, Rachel Heine. Does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm trying to figure out the logistics, but it's
He
there somewhere.
It works.
Sure.
Hector's out this week. Aw.
Boo, Hector.
Well, he had to take his medicine. Little pup.
It's crazy too that he had never seen The Shining, which is like a staple. I know, but it's like a film person movie.
It is, because it's a Kubrick classic.
Exactly. And so I watched it again and I was like, nah.
Oh my god, the opening sequences is like it's really naff.
What's that?
Naff, cheap, tacky.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's not even that, I just was like, we'll get into it, but just so much more interested in the spookiness of the book than...
And we get to talk about the endings. They are very different.
Yeah, I'm really sad we didn't get topiary animals in the movie, because like, picture that.
Right?
Actually,
the first thing I was thinking is how are they going to do that, especially in the 70s. Like that's a
stop motion. It would have been so cool.
Whoa.
I mean, they weren't really.
You want a meticulous person doing stop motion? I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
They'd never finish the film.
Took a year to do 3 takes of the blood elevator. Yeah. Anyway, hey. If you are a first timer, we'll see you in the chat and we'll say hi. We'll call you out and recognize you. Yo, Adrian, Adrian's new? I don't know.
I think so. New-ish?
Ish. There are some newer names and there are some familiar names that we get every single week, which is sick. Hi guys, it's The Shining. Let's get into it. Previously on The Shining.
Previously on Alpha Book Club.
Yeah.
That's a Dan. I stole it from Dan. He says it all the time.
Really?
Yeah. It's a lot. It's from Lost. Like when they would go previously on Lost. Oh my God, Lee. I didn't say it's good.
I do. Previously on
sorry.
Fungins and Flagons. And I put on my storytelling voice.
Oh, I like that.
Whatever.
Oh my gosh. Side note.
Yeah.
We're going to take a tangent.
Yeah.
When you did your like Fungins, like creating a character when we were hanging out with Hector, that was like the first time I was like, okay, maybe I could play D&D and not.
Yes.
It's always the performance part that gets me, but it was like you're so good. You're
that's very sweet.
Great DM.
We filmed episodes 1 and 2 of Fungins, and that'll be coming to Geek Bomb this Saturday, which is a huge deal, guys, because I have to write, direct, create, fundraise, and everything else. Woo. Yeah, it's a arduous task, and I don't get
watch it, donate
anything out of it.
Do it.
I just have to pay myself back because
you get a show out of it. Also, can we just look at my boots?
Yeah, they're cute. They've got moons on them.
Got moons on them, and it's like see-through, so I can pick what color they are on my sock based on my socks.
You know what? You got to count your wins, guys.
It's a moons shirt because Luna means moon, and I got moon boots.
What a day!
No one appreciated that today, so I felt like maybe
what a time to be alive!
I'm just taking that joy where I can, you know?
Use your Shining. What am I thinking?
I don't know. It's a pun.
Yeah.
It's got to be a pun. What's the pun?
No, nothing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I know.
Hey, anyway, previously on the chapters that we read, there are hedge animals. They chase Danny. We start to go from, is this in everyone's mind, to, yeah, no shit's going down, and there is absolute powers and, what would you call it? Like a sentient sort of like disturbance that's
yeah, I mean,
growing in power.
Yeah, what would we qualify these things are?
Haunted.
They're haunted for sure.
Yeah.
Are the animals possessed? It's actually interesting because Haunting of Hill House, which was the first book that we read on this program 2 years ago, which is crazy, and is an amazing TV show on Netflix. Bowser. No, I'm just kidding. I just found out Bowser. But she kind of started the idea of the haunted house being like seeping up the energy of previous dark, malevolent forces.
And
I feel like
1956, 50.
Yeah, so a lot of this, just in like conceptually, not obviously The Shining and all of Stephen King's wacky stuff, but that idea of like something taking on the energies of the bad things.
It's not a spirit of an individual.
It's not like a person necessarily. It's like all the bad things that have happened there. And
that's frightening as well, because it's something like that where it's like it doesn't have a beating heart. and it's
Right.
like, you know, and it's not just the manager.
You can't help
the
it, like,
manager
solve
is a
its-
building.
It's
Like,
unfinished business or whatever, and then you're like, okay, bye.
but
see
how do you find a solution? How do you kill or stop something
You
that's like
destroy that dang house or hotel. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully that did it.
the boiler burn?
Yeah.
The boiler blow?
Yeah.
Didn't happen in the movie though.
No.
Oh, so many differences. Also, like I really love it when you have such an iconic piece of fiction like this, where it's like it borrowed from previous ones, like The Haunting of Hill House, but what borrowed from it?
Oh, so many things.
Triwizard Cup, anyone?
Yeah, no, yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
From the movie, at least,
Yeah, the
yeah.
hedges, yeah, no, that's definitely evocative of that. I
Yeah.
do love, there are some really beautiful shots in the Shining movie, and it is good, it's a good movie, even though Kubrick was kind of a garbage person.
I eventually, maybe once we do start comparisons with movie and book, I watched some behind the scenes footage shot by Kubrick's daughter on film, kind of like showcasing and getting a real cool voyeuristic look at what it was like behind the scenes of that movie. Just how Jack holds himself, and he's kind of always a little bit on, and he's super charismatic.
Yeah, because he's a method actor, yeah, so he stayed in character, or
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
But the
good.
way that he would banter and, like, you know, it was a very much a bit of a boys' club between Kubrick and Jack.
Shocked.
Shelley Duvall was ripped in half.
Yeah, no, I've read and seen, I mean...
So I do want to go into that in a little bit, but in this chunk of the book, we finally find out what Tony is. 10 points to Gryffindor. I was right.
You were right.
I was right. It was
You were
him. It
right.
was a deep part of him that was a coping mechanism. Did you
But
guys know
was
that
he
when I
the-
said that?
But was he
I had no
the...
idea.
I didn't know, because it's not in the movie.
No, but I didn't
So-
look it up either.
Oh, so
That's
it's
just what made sense to me.
I just think that it's what's interesting is he just a coping mechanism, or is he sent, like, you get into the idea of, like, time, like, is he going back
Because it was an
to
older
war?
version of
Yeah,
him.
is that him, like, creating his own, like, what is it called, time paradox?
Yep. And is it separate to The Shining, or is it because of?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. As soon as you start some sort of
Ugh.
like, just, oh, I burped quite loudly into my microphone.
Oh my God.
Apologies.
Paladin-ish 421 says, Maude, why did you not join Amy with the scary house? Have you seen that video?
Yeah, no. Last time I went into a haunted house, I came back with a legitimate phobia.
Well, that was the Chucky one, right?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I've never seen the movie Chucky, but I now have automatonophobia, which is the fear of something that is not real coming to life. So that goddamn doll bullshit that you guys were pulling.
What about Toy Story? What about Toy Story?
No, because it's not in my hand. It's not a tangible object. But if there was, Weta does a really good job of it, where with like the Warcraft movie, they had more bigger than life size.
I went on the
Statues
set,
of
yeah,
it.
and they had the...
But they've got scarring, they've got body hair. The whole time I'm like doing a piece of camera next to it, and I'm like, it fucking blinked, didn't it? Like it's blinking. I can just, or it's
So, like, if that skeleton started, like,
Yeah, I wouldn't like it.
coming out.
Because what happened was
That'd
I
be
thought that
so
the Chucky
cool.
doll was an animatronic. I thought that it was motion censored and it popped out
Oh, yeah.
when you walked a particular
do that
place.
again.
No, it was what happened.
cool. Okay.
But I was like, I think I had my first panic attack when it popped out, and I slammed against the wall, and I dropped down, and I was like, oh my God, it's just motion censored. If I find out this is a robot, I'm never going to be scared of anything ever again. And so I walk up to it, and I'm like, and of course it's like, and it comes out again. And then I'm like, see, told ya. And then it steps out of the bloody toy box and it chases after me. And I go to turn around and my legs give way. So I've just thrown myself on the floor and it's hovering over me with this goddamn knife.
And someone's
I'm
controlling
army
it? Like, is someone
It's
watching
a
it?
person!
Oh.
It was a person! It was a person! That's so messed up.
I can't, I honestly would have probably not quite the same reaction as you and Amy, I imagine, but like, I'm a sucker for jump scares, so I would be, and it was dark too. That was a great video. Watch it on Nerdist or Facebook or YouTube.
No.
It was fun.
When it's legitimate fear, when it's like, this is all funny, fine, but when it's like someone, it's like tapping into like an actual phobic,
Yeah.
like fear.
Yeah.
It's just not funny anymore. Oh yeah, DeMarco draws. Shelley Duvall is not well. Dr. Phil had her on his show, and he's not good. Yeah, no, she's deteriorated, and she's kind of like big into conspiracy theories, and she's.
Oh no.
But there is this part I've got to talk about it, and it's just not sitting well with me. There's this part in the behind the scenes look. It's on YouTube. It's about 40 minutes. Have a check it out. Have a check it out. And then, oh, don't even do my drawers. It's not even funny. And I can feel its tiny little hands around my ankle. Oh, crap.
Do you want me to look?
It's fine.
Are you sure?
It's fine.
I'll look for you.
I'm just going to put my legs... Ah! Slytherin. Look for Slytherin. There, that's fine.
I just really don't ever think it's going to work, and then it does.
Yeah, no, I have like a very brave exterior until the littlest thing just unravels me and I become a little bitch. But in this behind the scenes piece, Shirley Duvall is sitting there, like she's got a cigarette in her hand, much like Wendy, and she's pulling her hands through her hair and she's like, look, my hair is falling out. I'm getting chunks of hair. My gosh, like I'm losing hair over this. And Kubrick kind of like walks past her, ignoring her. She's like, look. And then he comes back and he goes, I have absolutely no empathy. I'm unempathetic right now over this.
He like literally
said it to her
that?
face. Yeah. And I've got like theories and how he spoke to her. So he like called action and they had to have like the big blowing snow machines. It was like a huge setup. And he's like, action. Oh, cut. Storms over to her and goes, did you not hear? Well, we said cut. You're wasting everyone's time when you do this. She's like, I couldn't hear you. I didn't hear. And she's like trying to defend herself. She's like, I didn't hear you call action. I just heard that we were taking out and we needed a minute. So, and he's just like, nah, this is all on you and your fault and da-da-da. And I was like, there's 3 reasons why he's like this to her. Not to Jack, they're buddies and chums. He's great to everyone else, just her. A, he's got ingrained misogyny and he hates all women.
Sure.
You know, it's not just her, it's the fact that she's a woman.
Yep.
I don't necessarily think that's the case. 2, he just despises her as a person, the individual. He just doesn't like her. I don't think he...
I think number 1 is definitely possible.
Well, I mean, you see him interact with other female people behind the camera.
But maybe, I know, but maybe it's like a dynamic thing of
I think she
controlling.
just wasn't getting his vision. And I think he was super disappointed. And I believe it was Stephen King or Kubrick saying that she was the wrong person for the role because she's supposed to be blonde and she's supposed to be like, you know, Betty Crocker in the kitchen kind of deal.
But didn't he approve her casting?
I know.
You know.
I want to look that up, actually, if we want to do a bit of fact checking for that one. And then the third thing is that he was doing it on purpose to get her into the character.
That I believe. That is definitely
He was purposely
true.
just antagonizing her, chastising her.
Hitchcock was like that too. And Hitchcock was a mega creep, so.
There you go. But yeah, that was very interesting.
I feel like I wish that I had known when I was younger that if Stanley Kubrick is a dude's favorite director, I probably shouldn't date them.
Alarm bells?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just of like, if that's the number 1, if it's like meticulousness and like control.
Who would be your number 1 director?
Me? Oh, that's a good question. Well, Karen Kusama, who did The Invitation, is one of my favorites, but I would say, because I want to shout out a woman, but Paul Thomas Anderson would be up there for me.
Yeah.
But
Boogie Nights, that one shot with
the
following Mr. Huffman.
Magnolia, There Will Be Blood is a perfect film. It's perfect. But I just, that like need to be right and to control everything at the expense of other people, it's a big thing, yeah.
All right. Yep. Thrash Odin. Kubrick straight up abused her.
Yep.
Game Wizard at 001. He also had to do take after take. He got her so frustrated that when she had the bat on the stairs being confused, that's all Duvall and not Wendy. And then Mrs. Kylo Ren said King did not care for Duvall's character in the film, saying one of the most misogynistic characters ever put on film. She was basically just there to scream and be stupid, which is such a shame because in the book, like she's the only one who's switched on. She's kind of got her priorities right. It's not like this was like an easy position to be in.
No, and she's trying to figure it out, and she is still like considering leaving and self-reliant and not quite as.
She's not.
Like,
100%
she's nervous
submissive.
and sad, but she's not like a
Duvall was a blubbering
She's like
mess.
the hysterical woman kind of trope.
She couldn't hold it together for a second, and it's like her face was permanently like. I don't know, yeah. I was actually quite frustrated watching it, if I could be honest.
I started rewatching it this weekend, and like halfway through I was like,
because like even she's got a bat and a knife
stop
in her hand, and even that can barely be held.
Which he's probably directing her. But yeah, I mean, I understand appreciating the films and stuff. I just think that like, as an aside, I had the Snyder fans come after me after I responded to a question that was like, what is the one movie that someone would say on a blind date that would get you to like just walk out?
Got it.
And I was joking, but it's also true. And I said a Zack Snyder movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And
Who
if
put
I
the
had
lid
finished
back
the
on?
thought on Twitter, nice, it would have said, because then I would know that they hate women. But but it just sent them after me of like, how dare you? And it's like, I'm allowed to have my opinion. It's just if that's your favorite of all time, we're probably not going to get along, and that's okay.
Yeah, and you know
But
what?
I probably don't want
if
to
you
date
don't
you.
agree
Wow.
with it, it doesn't mean I'm sorry. It's
No,
an
no,
Australian
no.
pour.
It's okay.
Yeah, you don't drive. Hey,
It's a Rachel pour.
Can we actually scooch back? Mrs. Kylo Ren said that Stephen King didn't like Jack Nicholson's casting either, and said that when you look at Jack Nicholson, he's in the office of Mr. Ullman, the manager of the hotel, and you know then that he's crazy as a shithouse rat. All he does is get crazier, but in the book, he's the guy who's struggling with his sanity and finally loses it. To me, that's a tragedy. In the movie, there's no tragedy because there's no real change. He does have a phase that looks like he kicked a puppy minutes before.
Yeah, I totally agree
And
with that.
liked it.
Yeah, I don't know that I would say, like, he's definitely struggling with his sanity and not crazy in the book, but he's also not a good guy, but he does have that facade, which a lot of kind of abusive and or
they're very charismatic.
usually very charismatic. They hold on to jobs. People love them in their, day-to-day life. It's only a few people who are get in that intimate moment that get to see that.
I'm so sorry. We had this moment. What did I eat for lunch? Pizza.
I'm so
Got to learn a lesson.
No,
Won't
no,
do it today, but probably won't do it ever. If that's the balance.
Yeah, no.
Fine.
Totally
Done.
worth it. Yeah.
So I'm not even sorry, guys. The unmasking is a big theme here, where it's like, you've got Danny realizing and recognizing that's not my daddy. He's just wearing a mask. It's just.
And that doesn't mean that the dad is perfect, but he already wore a mask anyway as a teacher. Like people who are but. Yeah, the end is so violent of this book.
That's the biggest difference as well. Like, I think Shelley Wendy just kind of fell down a bit of stairs. She got pummeled in the book. She got beaten and broken.
And also in the Hallorann. Mm-hmm.
Punched in the eye.
And the face.
Oh, with
the mallet. Like, first, this is something in books and movies that I cannot handle, which is like head trauma. Like someone get like, I don't know if it's something I read when I was younger.
Mine's little knives.
Really?
Stabbing with like a scalpel kind of thing, or shanking.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
That's how I would. If I were defending myself. Sorry, I should have. So I had this joke. No. I had this joke with my friends where I was on a road trip with my friends, and this really creepy guy like came up and whispered in my ear, and my first thought was like, I wish I like just. I didn't want to kill him, but it was like
enough to.
Don't creep on people.
He's gonna puncture him like a sausage.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to murder people.
No.
I also don't want to eat people. I just want to clarify that from the Hannibal thing. It's still not true. I was just saying I would potentially
If I
try
went
it.
out in the sun for a long time and got a bit sunburnt, would that smell good to you?
No.
Like crispy human skin?
I don't even eat meat that much. Anyway.
Surfing Cord, we got another one. We got another one over for Dresden Files and said, still being chicken about reading the book, but if Maude can read it and sleep at night, then maybe I can try. Also, thanks for Dresden Files recommendation. Just finished the first book and I'm loving it. 100%.
We both definitely want to read that book at some point.
Yes.
I know it's
Listen
an aside,
to it, guys.
But agreed. I walked out of Sucker Punch. It is a misogynist movie masquerading as a feminist one. Fuck that movie, 100%. And was it Thrash Odin who described Dresden Files as the mix between our favorite books?
Yes, that was Thrash Odin.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, because it's and the fantasy world that I love so much, but the detective.
And it's like, but murder mystery. It's like the perfect combo. We should do that one.
And I got him listening to it as well. The biggest difference as well between the book and the movie is Hallorann's fate. Hallorann
and Jack Torrance, like the whole ending is just totally different.
It's absolutely different. So let's go through the book first. How's that? So in the book, Hallorann, you really do. He is going above and beyond. This is a man who's got living by quite modest means. He's not rolling in it, and he's just hearing one little boy that he's met for maybe 4 minutes screaming help, and he gets on a flight. The flight's delayed. He has to land from that flight,
I love
rent
him.
a car, Go and get the.
That's what I would do if I had The Shining.
Chains on it. I mean, this is when you feel
Who
like
else
it's
is gonna
the
help
weight
this?
of it.
Yeah,
you know, you have
it's like Professor X, or you look at anyone with the power to read minds.
With
like
great
I
power
feel terrible. Yes,
comes great responsibility.
Hector, you should be here.
You would love that. Finally, yeah, we're talking comics subtly. We didn't even mean to. Oh, what a day. Yeah, you know, and you kind of feel for him, and it's like everything that could go wrong has gone wrong, with flights being delayed, the weather's getting worse, he's got to get the chains on.
How far does the reach go? We talked about that too, where it's like,
hours.
did the hotel bring Jack Torrance there? We were talking about that with Amy. Is any of that, is that just coincidence? Is that, like, we don't know how far this, like, evil reaches, because it's so many years and so many people, you know?
But I think they hooked Jack because obviously Danny was the beacon. As soon as they could capture and kill Danny, and he would, like, you know, fuel them to become unstoppable. That's what I was feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's scary.
Yeah, that's how I was seeing it. We've got a poll happening though. Which character did you like the most in the show? Which character did you like the most? Jack, County, Wendy, Hallorann, Danny, or other? Other being the bloated dead corpse in the
topiary
bath.
animals.
Don't you?
I liked
the
them.
topiary line. No, it, like literally like sliced him up good. no, evil. No, this is definitely not that cute. It is 100%. Okay, yep. No, you'd be dead. Okay.
I would definitely be dead.
While you're dying, you're like, but
meow,
meow, meow.
It came to life. It's a lion.
Yeah, no, I'd be dead. Meow. Kitty. Yeah. So you're seeing just what Hallorann has to go through to be able to save this kid, not even knowing if he's going to be there on time, if it's already happened. He goes out of his way, which is why Hallorann won the poll at 71% of being the most favorite character.
Tony would be my second pick.
Yeah, I mean, he's got
Tony's
good intentions.
Really trying. He's scary. He's real scary, but he's trying. You know what's
Is he
funny?
only scary because he was unknown and it's something that we didn't understand?
But that's what I like about suspense and thrillers over, like, I do like a good jump scare, but over like showing too much or too much gore or whatever, the suspense is what gets you. So even if they turn out to be good, you still are freaked out by them, like the others, you know, or things like that one really got me when I saw that.
Yeah,
with
no,
Nicole
I don't think
Kidman.
I've seen that one. I don't think I ever will.
That's a spooky one. But
thank you.
You know what else the ending of this reminds me of too is, which is kind of similar, is Crimson Peak. Did you see that?
No.
So it's not a horror. It's got scary moments.
That's Guillermo del Toro?
Yeah.
With the haunted house?
Yeah.
Tom?
Yeah.
Probably should, huh?
Yeah. It's a gothic romance.
Chastain?
It's not a horror. Yes. It's dope.
2015.
Yeah. Are you IMDb? What's happening?
So, Hector's not here. Someone has to do it. No, it's really fun, and it has a haunted house that's more than what it seems, but it is way more of a gothic romance than a horror. It has scary visuals in it, but it's definitely worth a watch. But there, without spoiling it, I guess there's the idea of people coming to save people from the house and not knowing what to do. But and the snow, that all sort of just reminded me of that. So that sounds very romantic instead of like.
It's like
pizza.
It's super my shit. That's all I'll say.
Don't look at me. That's 4 in a row. Okay. Yeah, also Immortal Amazon, the other is the snowstorm. The snowstorm being the other thing that was stopping him from getting there. And he essentially has his hero moment. He rescues them. He takes a beating, but I love that he becomes the hero.
Yeah.
I love how his character is written by King, where it's like he defies all odds, saving people he barely knows, tackling
because he has this responsibility,
this insane being. He's not even sure what's going on there.
It feels like it's and then talking about when Jack is like shifting and all of that,
his eyes,
and he wakes up and then
so well
like that freaked me out. I don't like anything to do with possession or like invasion of the body snatcher stuff when it looks like, or what is it, Stepford Wives, where it looks like someone but it's not you. My dad used to play this. It must come from this, actually, because my fear of heights also comes from my dad playing tricks on me. But he used to do this character, and I would see him like once or twice a week, and he would do this character of like, I don't know if it was because I would be like, I have to watch Are You Afraid of the Dark in front of the TV.
And he's like,
but
I'll make you afraid.
No, he would bring me like whatever single dad food. I had probably mac and cheese with hot dogs in it, really good. But he would go, "Hi, I'm the waiter. Do you need your thing?" And I'd be like, no, that's okay. And I'd be like, "Where's my dad?" And he'd be like, "Oh, he's not here anymore." And it freaked me out so bad.
Awful.
Like if I called him right now, he would do it. And like even to this day, if he goes, if I'm at Thanksgiving or whatever, he's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, no. So I think that's where it comes
Rachel,
from.
I'm going to have kids and I'm going to do that to them.
I know you are.
Yeah.
I know you are.
Fuck them up for life.
Whether you try or not, all parents kind of do that to their kids, so it doesn't matter.
We're talking about the comparison between the book and the movie. Voting right now, did you like the happier ending compared to the film? Yes, it needs to be a happy ending with something like The Shining. No, it needed to be darker.
Boom! Oh my God! Oh,
it all
just went.
It could have been better. So basically, it's a bit of a yes or no.
I've never seen it update in real time like that. That was really cool.
Yeah, it's all over the place. I preferred the book ending. I really did. I loved that Hallorann got his hero moment. I loved that they 9 months later caught up and they're still in each other's lives, even though Wendy's still broken and mending. That Danny has...
and she's like... She's really broken.
Oh my God, she's got her hair, like she's in a back brace. But the fact that, Danny's made a friend for life and he's found someone like him.
It's this,
and a father figure that's not warped beyond measure.
And it's... I also feel like there's a through line in Stephen King's stories, especially about kids, with It and also, God, what's the one? Dreamcatcher.
No, thank you.
And... which is a terrible movie, but I love it so much.
Who said Pan's Hedge Labyrinth? That's the best.
Oh, that's fun. Oh, and Pan is my cat.
You have to make
someone said they'd love Guillermo del Toro as a director for a remake. That would be really cool. But yeah, I think I just lost my train of thought. I usually prefer a darker ending, just because it feels realistic. I really like this ending. I like that. Oh, Stephen King. He has it's almost the kids obviously are the heroes, but it's in It you see this a lot. It's the adults that are the real kind of monsters. Yeah. So in It, all the adaptations.
I think that's just a King thing all the time. It's like, why don't you believe me? Because I'm a responsible adult that knows best.
But it's not even not believing them. Like in It, like the adults. They do monstrous things. Jack does monstrous things without any supernatural elements. They just heighten that.
Got it.
In Dreamcatcher, it's like the military and these men that are like, And so I think that's really great about this having a happy ending is that he's found an adult who still keeps that through line. Like when you're a kid and you're like, I'm never gonna be like that when I grow up, and then you're like, oh no, I'm turning into my name, authority figure. But there is hope to learn from the cycles of your past and the adults and the problems that you had growing up. And I like that as a
little bit of hope, man.
Yeah, we need some
I've got
hope.
a tattoo on my body it's literally about hope. And I think that's all you need sometimes.
Yeah, and just that you can break a cycle. There you go. Okay. That you could, especially in something that's so rooted in addiction and abuse, both of which have really extreme cycles and that are really, really difficult to break out of. And it's easy to say, why didn't she just leave? Why don't they just stop drinking? Like all of those kinds of things, and it's not that easy. And so to have this example of you can get out of it, you can find other people who understand you. It's not everyone is going to be like this to you. Like that's a really powerful message, I think. So I like this ending.
And I also like the fact that, the N-word is dropped about 27 times in the book, and yet it is the black man saving the day. And I kind of feel like the movie that was stolen from him.
I can't even read that word.
It was just cheated. And I think that, the fact that he is the only person of color in the entire book and that he gets instantly... I understand both sides here. So I understand Kubrick's message where it was like, this is the only hope, the beacon, the rescue, everything. He's going out of his way to get there. And as soon as he walks in, he's done.
Yeah.
And it's like, and that's the feeling of hopelessness. But at the same time...
Yeah, no, it's fucked.
In the book, that means it was an executive decision to take that win away from Hallorann. And it means that that whole thing was snuffed out, and why couldn't he have had his hero moment?
Yeah, I agree with that. I also just hate reading that word ever. Yeah. I know that it's a time but it makes me feel sick. But it almost like added to the sickness of the house because I was like, this is pure evil. Like this is horrible.
Yep. It was sexist with like, oh, we're surprised that she's stronger. We just assumed she'd be so weak.
Yeah.
And then with like, we want a strong white man to take the podium here. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But that kind of really bothered me. And I think the labyrinth was a little bit. I mean, in the movie it was fine. I really liked the cinematography behind it.
The first shot of the labyrinth that starts way up top, and I should look up how they did that, but just as it
was not real.
Really? It's a model?
That was. I'm pretty sure. But the end sequence, that was done in a soundstage.
Yeah, most of it was, right?
Yeah.
I went to the Kubrick exhibit when it was here a few years ago with an ex-boyfriend who loved Kubrick. So, and it was actually really cool to see some of the sets that they did and all of that, because the artistry of it, the like filmmaking is great. It's just that once you know, it's that conversation about the art versus the artist, and it's like, once you know that someone was a piece of human garbage, it's harder to like their stuff, even if it's technically really great.
How do you separate it?
you know?
My mom has always hated Woody Allen.
Yeah.
Always hated him.
My mom too.
And I've adopted that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't have to watch his movies. There's so many others to watch.
Yeah.
They don't have dragons in them. That's fine.
Yeah, I watched them when I was younger, but my mom was like, I think, ahead of the sort of trend on people acknowledging what actually happened, and I appreciate that, because I'm like, sure, I enjoyed some of his movies. Don't ever want to watch them again.
Yeah, and then Cate Blanchett doing, what was that one?
I know, it's just
Jasmine?
hard. It's hard. The monsters are people often, and that's why horror can be, even if you don't enjoy it and you get scared very easily. Like The Haunting of Hill House, I just bookmarked a piece actually that I want to read after I see the new Halloween, but it was comparing Haunting of Hill House, the show, Sharp Objects, which is a Gillian Flynn, that was adapted. That. Oh, it was really good. Hereditary, and...
Have you seen that?
Yes.
You did? Why?
It fucked me all the way up, dude.
Yeah, one of my contributors...
I can't even think about it in my apartment.
One of my contributors is writing 3 horror movies to watch if you're a scaredy cat, and she put Hereditary on it.
Oh, that's mean.
And I'm like, I've got a couple of notes.
No, that's really mean.
I'm going to say take that one off.
No.
I haven't even seen it, and I know that's just cool.
But it was all about this trend in horror and the new Halloween of using horror, and it's not a new trend, but it's something that people are picking up on, of female trauma, especially through the horror lens. So it was.
Oh, we're always a victim, aren't we?
It was, but reclaiming that, and that's like the final girl in horror movies, where it's just one that survives, and kind of taking that trope, which can be misogynist in the wrong hands, but to kind of that idea of
what about the fact that the killers are always dudes? Killers are always dudes. Why can't we get a female killer? Eh? Am I right?
Because we don't do that.
That's a good point. Well, that's not entirely true. There have been women who have...
Who just made that noise?
Mass murdered. But I mean, is that an empowering thing?
No, it's, of course, women murder people, but I think like serial killers are largely
men. Have you seen Chicago?
Mass
he ran
shootings.
into my knife 12 times.
Oh, so here's a fun thing that's a tie into Hill House, and also, I know you haven't seen it, it's probably scary.
I'm going to stop you really quickly because Stephen put a really great comment and fact in the chat, which was The Empire Strikes Back was delayed because they were in the same soundstage as The Shining.
That is interesting.
Yeah,
that's
sorry, that was worth
fact.
interrupting you, and I do apologize for doing so.
No problem. I was going to say that
Hi, T-boys.
For anyone who has seen Haunting of Hill House and wants to talk about it, at me. Number 2, Stephen King wrote a sequel to The Shining in 2013 called Dr. Sleep that's being adapted into a film starring my husband, Ewan McGregor, as grown-up Danny, and is being directed by Mike Flanagan, who did the Gerald's Game adaptation for Netflix, which is another Stephen King story, and he also did The Haunting of Hill House, which I think is a masterpiece.
Okay.
And I was really not expecting to like it because when I saw the trailer, I was like, it's not...
What's it called?
Haunting of Hill... Oh, the sequel to The Shining? Dr. Sleep.
Oh.
And they're filming now, and I haven't read it, and I would really like to. But The Haunting of Hill House, I was kind of annoyed that they weren't using the story from the book.
Yeah.
But then I realized that the director, who has done a bunch of other horror stuff that has no right to be as good as it is, honestly, and Carla Gugino, I don't know, she's beautiful and I love her and she's in this. And so I'm really excited now for the Dr. Sleep one because I'm like, give Mike Flanagan all the horror stuff. Make him do, I don't know, another It thing, Stephen King thing, so.
Chat's just come in with a great example of a female villain, and that's Misery with Kathy Bates.
Yes, and Charlize Theron and Lizzie Borden. That's true.
They're there. They are there. Kathy Bates looks like my
Girl.
mum. Yeah, that's true. That is very true.
One of my girl.
She go.
You go.
Can we scroll it back just a little bit?
Baby girl, you gone.
Miss Necromancer was saying.
Wait, hold on. I just said baby girl, you gone baby, gone girl, baby.
What is that? Is that a lyric of a song?
I just had a stroke.
You know what though? You put a sick beat down and you got a new song. Miss Necromancer was saying that she can't read Ender's Game because of Orson Scott Card.
Yeah.
It's that same thing where it was like he's a bit of a shithead. Very homophobic, I believe, is what his deal is.
There are a ton of them out there.
And it's a great book. I read it in one day. And it's super psychological, which I really love.
We get a lot of awesome art from people who aren't monsters and, moving forward, and that there is a new kind of set of expectations that no, it's not okay to abuse your actors or other people in general in any way and still be a successful artist, because it doesn't need to happen. And there have been many people who are not monsters
if we want to get
had that opportunity.
If we want to get hella deep, I actually got a lead role in a movie in Australia. And the director, it started off like we wanted to do the voiceover. I was like, done, easy. All right, it's like just a voiceover.
Is this recently?
No, this is when I was in Australia. So this is like 6 years ago. We want you to be a voice. It's a girl making a frantic phone call. I'm like, easy. Okay, now we actually want you to use
I'm already concerned.
Want you to do CCTV and it actually be you in a phone booth. Can you do that? And I was like, yeah, done. Actually, no, now we want you to be the lead and we want you to carry this over. And I was like, oh, that's not my voice at all, but all right, here we go. And I was doing a full day of like very intensive script reading and testing and all of this stuff. And he was like, well, this girl has just spent weeks being tortured and raped and she saw her boyfriend get murdered. So maybe let's talk about the worst thing that's ever happened to you and then we can use that. And I was like, stop. I'm going to stop you right there. My past and whatever has happened is not your right. And you don't get to exploit it for a performance that makes you happy. That's the most sadistic shit I've ever heard, and I'm going to politely decline the role. Yeah.
Yay,
I was just
that's
like,
awesome.
And I was like, fuck acting. Hosting's great. I get to be me. We don't have to worry about that bullshit.
And we drink wine.
Also, we had a little bit of a poll quickly, and the poll was, do you enjoy reading horror? Horror books. Hey, Rachel, say horror.
Horror.
No, I am not. I am a very, very polite woman.
Why would
it's
you do
your
that
language.
To me?
It's your language, guys.
I would never.
Americans cannot
never.
say a two-syllable word for horror.
Can I? What? We're allowed to swear on this.
Yeah.
Any swear word?
Oh, probably not. Prob's not.
That starts with a see you next Tuesday?
No.
Really? That's...
Hold on, we can't say that?
We
can't say that?
I'm not mad at you, but I just want to say I would never
Said it
reclaim
twice.
the word you said that I said.
Horror.
Implied that I said. But I do like reclaiming the see you next Tuesday, and I do think that being the term that we can't use, but other things are okay, is like weirdly...
See, this is where your accent fails you and you can't say horror, instead it's offensive. In the other scheme of things, apparently I can't say the word that we're not allowed to say, but my accent... Fight me.
Y'all,
Fight me.
don't mess.
Anyway.
What are they gonna do? What if a hook came off and just pulled us up? Sorry.
So basically, you guys gave it a 7 out of 10 for reading horror books.
How do you feel at the end of this horror book?
This is a very,
Horror book.
I really like that it wasn't
Horror
only,
book.
there it is. It wasn't only paranormal. There was a lot of layers to this.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy it. And I loved, with Hill House, it was only us at that particular time. I mean, there was the Catherine Zeta-Jones movie, but I didn't dabble in that one, no way.
It's bad.
Watching The
It's not scary.
Shining as well was really great. I'm really glad that happened because there are very distinct and unique choices and endings in that. I'm team book for this one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
100%.
In every way. Hallorann's ending. And
the characters, the layers, the writing was so like, it made me want to go back and read some of the Stephen King stuff I like churned through when I was in middle school and like.
But you know what? I actually
sumptuous,
really
like,
appreciate
really beautiful language.
Because Stephen gave a part of himself.
Yes.
He allowed himself to be
Write what
vulnerable.
you know.
And the vulnerability is recognizing that he had an addiction, he was an alcoholic, and he was really showcasing just how destructive
and he needed to take responsibility. You know, it's a lot of people struggle with addiction or have family members or people
he was
and
wearing
abuse.
his flaws. And that's something I really dig.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, we all have shit. We have different degrees of it, but working on yourself and taking responsibility or creating something this powerful out of that is, you feel for Jack. It's not that he's just evil. He's an abusive person, but through seeing what he went through, you learn how those cycles continue if you don't
100%.
break them.
And we talk about coping mechanisms, and that is in essence what Tony is, but his coping mechanism was denial the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily right, but it definitely exists.
And drinking.
That's it.
Yeah.
And, you know, falling back and like that slippery slope, you know, it's all super true. We asked you to rate The Shining. What would you give it out of 5 stars? You guys gave it a 3.8. If you do have a computer there, the poll is up right now if you want to change that scoring. Do you agree with 3.8, Rach?
I'd give it a solid 4.
I also, it's climbing up, it's now 3.9.
Yeah.
I would give it a 4, if not a 4.3, 4.4.
Yeah, I
it's
quite liked it.
incredible writing.
Yeah.
And like Peter C876 is giving Gunslinger a lot of love in the chat there. Comparatively, I think The Shining is so much
Then the Gunslinger?
So much better.
Gunslinger gets negative points for me. That was like painful for me to get through. And it turned me off from the Dark Tower series, which is a bummer because I know that it's supposed to be really great and it has all the sort of like weird mythology clues, puzzles that I love, but I mean,
he's still being vague here. Is it this? Is it that?
But the writing, it's just a totally different style. The like starkness, and I like some writers who are very succinct and stark. A lot of the modernists do the Hemingway and stuff, but like, I don't know. It was just, if you're gonna do stark, keep it short maybe. Don't keep it like this staccato. Yeah, I don't know. But I do want to read more Stephen King, and I'm glad you enjoyed a horror book.
Yeah, guys, I think I mean, apart from the Chucky grabbing me under the seat and my skin is standing, hair is standing on end at the moment, but, you know, I think that this is big for everyone. A lot of wins. 3.9 was the overall score there.
That's fair. I like it.
All right, there you go. Now, since we've got an extra week this month, next week's episode is actually falling on Halloween itself.
Yay!
We're going to be reading an American, can't stress that enough, an American classic horror anthology from American children's childhood. Americans would read this book.
Maude has not read this book. For all of you in the chat who grew up in America around a certain time, late 80s, early 90s, it's Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark by Alvin Schwartz.
There it is.
And it was a huge thing for me. I'm really excited to revisit it. I'm sure I have them in a box somewhere, but super excited. It's super quick too.
It is a fast read. I've already punched that one out. I'm super excited to talk to you about that. We are going to have perspectives from an array of, backgrounds. What can we have done? Goosebumps. Remember Goosebumps?
We could do Goosebumps. We could do Fear Street. We could do Christopher Pike stories.
That
was all my...
You told a dad story. I'm going to tell one of mine.
Yeah.
Mine's not traumatic at all. It was when I realized my father was a god. It took me
cool.
It took me 3 weeks to read Goosebumps books, right? I got book 19, I believe it is. It's either 17 or 19, which is the Killer Whale Goosebumps book.
Oh, yeah.
Got it for Christmas. Mm-hmm. Dad goes, "What are you kids obsessed about? What is this book?" And he sat down and he read the whole thing in like 35 minutes. And he's like, "Okay, now I get it." And I was like, "Are you kidding?" I was like, what a legend. Anyway, guys, we're on Goodreads. Search Alpha Book Club. Come discuss books with us. I've got a little announcement for mine. Sarah J. Maas yesterday had a new book out for the trilogy. No,
The Throne of Glass?
I believe it is Throne of Glass, the series that I've been reading for a little bit now. If you do like my recommendations so far, that is one that I've been enjoying. So this is a big thing. I can't wait to listen to it. What are you reading at the moment?
I'm about to start another book that I've been waiting a long time for. It's Tana French's The Witch's Elm. And she wrote, yeah, of course. And she wrote The Dublin Murder Squad, I believe. She's one of the like 5 really awesome female thriller mystery writers that I just like pre-order their books as soon as they're available. And it felt like an eternity of waiting, and now it's finally here, and I'm very excited to read it.
Man, book lovers are the best. Yes. And we need more book recommendations. We are flying that Harry Potter flag for a little bit longer now, but we're not going anywhere. So more books, please. Get those recommendations in at Nerdist, at Geek and Sundry, or at Join Team Alpha. Use the hashtag Alpha Book Club and chat books with Rachel and myself. I'm at Maude Garrett, and you are at Rachel Heine.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Thank
you so much.
There can
only be one.
We killed all the other ones. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
With a tiny knife.
Guys.